We are live, Don,
We are right now?
right now. Right now. But but listen, we're just hanging out. We're just hanging out. Let's do this. Let's get ourselves all situated. There we go.
All right, good morning.
How are you, bud?
Hey, nice warm day out there. The
What I
lousy
really
spring
wanna-
weather is gone.
What I really want to know is how's the golf game, okay?
One day it's good, because the other day it was bad.
Okay.
But that was a hurricane conditions, in fairness to me.
See, I wouldn't golf that day.
Well, you were smart. And
More frustration.
I played so much golf in my life. That was the worst conditions in terms of the wind I've ever
course.
seen.
And then then it's not fun.
Well, I did win a skin. And then, on what used to be the number one handicap hole. And my drive, this is because of the wind, was 238 yards. And I used a 6-iron to get on the green, where normally I'm using a 3-wood. So, no, that was good. How about yourself?
I actually went out. I actually played. I played Blackboard and bogey golf.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like the opening hole there. I find it very intimidating.
It is.
Okay? And that next par 3 is very, very tight.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some holes out there. I just played a week ago with a bunch of guys, and they are magnificent. The beauty of that course.
It is. It's really nice. Look at, again, it's the most well-kept secret in Western New York. It's reasonably priced.
We stayed for dinner, by the way, and the food was sensational.
I know.
The staff is unbelievable.
I know. Here's a quick story. You'll love this. So last year, I had joined it. A couple years ago, I joined it. It was a special. And it was like 2 for 1, and I joined it. So last year, I didn't golf much because of the elections, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't get to golf much. So I called up the course and said, I'm getting out of it. This was in November or December of last year. Anyways, so I thought to myself, well, what am I gonna do with myself this summer? I need to play golf. And I like being able to go out on the course and do it. So here I am gonna go and I'm gonna look at all the golf courses. And I did. So I went and I called up Brookfield. And Brookfield was $37,000.
Very expensive.
$1,600 a month for the first 8 months. Then it goes down to $1,300. I called up Transit Valley, $20,000.
With the waiting, they got a waiting list.
$1,100
A month?
a month. Ooh, okay. And Park Country Club is $40,000 plus it's $1,500 a month. And then CCB is just stupid. I mean, I don't even know why they.
I had dinner with a friend of mine who belongs to CCB, and he just said it's outrageous.
It's stupid. It just doesn't make any sense.
And they're having problems with their service and their food.
So I think to myself, you're stupid. So I called up Roll, the manager of Lockport, and said, okay, I may have made a mistake. He goes, Dan, you're in. Don't worry about it. You're all set.
That's nice.
And I stayed. And you want to know, and it cost $500 a month.
Well, the guy who grabbed my clubs out of the trunk said, are you Don Postles? I said, I am. He goes, you're my mom's favorite anchorman. So I'm sending him a couple bucks. I gave him a $5. Tell your mom I said thanks. And my aunt likes you too. I said, great. They met you. I said, where'd they meet me? Years ago at the Erie County Fair. I spent a week out there where I do the 5 and the 6 o'clock news.
Yeah.
I must meet 1,000 people.
Of course.
So I don't know who they are, but I like saying, and my favorite story out there is when Jackie Walker and I got to introduce Chubby Checker. And
Wow.
he is a great guy. I mean, I learned how to do the twist when I was a little kid.
So it wasn't bad. So I was really happy. Bogey golf is great for a guy who doesn't play it that often, but intends to play a lot this year. I'm gonna go out tomorrow, I believe, after, and I like to go out, for me, I will go out at 1 o'clock. I'll go do 9 holes, and I'll be done in an hour, hour and a half.
Perfect.
And then if I wanna play 18, I could stay. I like kind of progressing and moving. I like that part of it. And here's the funny part about it. People have asked me to join them, and I'm actually okay playing myself a few times or a couple times a week. And here's why. I'll play 2 balls.
Well, yeah, I've done that, and it's called Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus. One ball's Arnie, and the other one's Jack. And
I
I'll
love
tell you,
that.
when you do play 2 balls, you're gonna shoot in the 70s.
Yeah,
You will.
that's right.
You know, because
Because
you say, what did I do? And then you
That's right.
you correct it. But I love the Lockport Town and Country Club. The people there are wonderful. Great course, some blind shots on a couple of holes.
100%.
Wow. And then the holes along the canal.
Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah.
And do you see what they're building?
No,
They're building a whole practice.
Oh, I did see that. Of course I did. My
Yeah.
God almighty, they got bulldozers.
Yes,
They
it
got
was-
the
it was
16th
incredible.
hole or 17th hole.
But at least,
No,
at
16th.
least they're doing something about it. At least they're trying to do something. And it's not too far out. It takes me 20 minutes to get there.
It's not a bad drive.
It's not a bad drive. A lot of my friends joined Niagara Falls Country Club because they were giving it away. And I'm not a bit, I used to belong to that club,
What's the one on Route 18,
Niagara
Niagara?
Frontier.
That's gotta be awesome. I've
I
never
belonged
played-
there for 20 years.
You did? You got a
Oh,
Great course?
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But I belonged to Niagara Falls Country Club. It was okay. I didn't find it to be, I'm still surprised that they have the Porter Cup there. I still can't believe that hasn't moved somewhere else. Because there's so,
It's a great tradition.
I understand that, but you wanna know something, as far as a golf course?
And they're teenagers though.
But as a golf course, I don't find it to be as challenging.
Challenging. Well, I played there with Nino Nanula years ago
Oh,
and,
yeah.
God bless us. So, I have a good time there. And the food is great there.
Yeah,
And I think Alan Cohen is still the manager.
is he really?
I think he is, and he's a great guy. Nice people, great membership. I'll tell you another sleeper, is Lancaster. They have a nice country club. You ever
Oh.
play there?
No,
Well, and the only course I really don't like a lot, I like them all. There's no such thing as a bad golf course, but it's Fox Valley.
yeah, I belong there too. I belong there too. Now, I found that to be a kind of a wonky course.
Right, some of the holes are trumped up.
They're just wonky. you
Yeah.
know. But again, if you want to golf, you wanna go out, I'm absolutely okay with spending what I spend at Lockport. Some of these other ones, I just couldn't do it.
Well, when we got done, there was 12 of us, and everyone stayed for dinner, and the staff did a great job.
Everybody liked the course?
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. There are some people that believe that the Lockport Golf Course is one of the best in Western New York.
Yeah,
Why or not?
it was number 16, I believe, on the list.
Wow.
There's a list, I've got a list here, and the list shows that to be number 16, and look, they said Diamond Hawk was like number 3 or 4, and I'm like,
No way.
I'm not kidding you.
I know. I saw that list. I don't put much credence in that. The bottom line, in terms of value for the cost of your dollar, you're getting a good deal.
Of course you are, of course you are.
There's a lot of.
Well, you
places-
belong to Park.
It's very expensive.
It
now.
is, it's a beautiful, let me tell you something. As far as the way a course looks, Park has got the most beautiful.
Except when Ellicott Creek decides to flood. And the water goes up on the 18th green. Great members, but they had a very poor judgment and a general manager that they hired. It was a disaster. He ran up $1 million deficit. So they've been nickel and diming the members trying to make up for it.
It's tough.
And one of the latest things they did, they're now charging $85 green fees for a grandkid. Whether they play
Wow.
3 holes, 6 holes, 9 holes, 18 holes.
Wow.
85. So when you throw in the tax on top of that, that's over $100, and then you got the
Wow.
golf cart, which is $60 for 2 people.
That's too much money.
Yeah, and there are members who are complaining, old guys like myself, who, the young members talk about the proud tradition. They don't know what their tradition is.
That's
We
right.
never used to charge for
And
grandkids.
to be honest with you, like, I'm trying to think, what is it that people are, what are these clubs trying to do? If you think about where their head is at right now, they're trying to be all for the younger generation coming up. Pools, and they want pickleball courts, they want to do all these things, okay. I want to just say this to you, that the amount of money that you will spend at these courses, does it amount to be a realistic venture for a young family?
Well, it's an expensive initiation fee
But
now.
again, you live in this area,
Right,
you're already paying high taxes.
yep.
How do you balance that?
You know how I did it all through the years? I never took luxury vacations. So
Oh, okay,
in my opinion, the club owes me nothing because of the junior golf, the junior tennis, and the swimming program. My kids had a tremendous upbringing.
but Don, you didn't pay that $40,000 initiation fee.
It was 3,000 when I
That's what I'm
joined
saying.
1983.
But today, $40,000 to join it.
Well,
Plus, you're spending 15,000 a year. My point is, the disposable income you now have to have in order to belong to one of the Brookfield or CCB, that's a lot of money. In
Even
my
transit.
opinion, even transit, it's a lot of money. And I wonder how realistic it is that how long you have to belong in order to get your money out. And how many rounds of golf do you have to play in order for it to make sense,
Well, I didn't have to pay the initiation.
right?
I had an offer to go to CNN, and Phil Booth at Channel 7 at the time said if I stayed with him, that he would pay my initiation at the Park Club. You won't find that in many private sector jobs
A
in
lot of
America.
bankers used to get that for free too.
Yes, they did, and some insurance executives. But those days are gone.
Yeah.
But I see these Maseratis in the parking lot, the
Yeah.
Porsche and everything, and the high-end Mercedes and everything else, and these young kids have great jobs.
Yeah.
And I tip my hat to them.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't making big bucks back then, when I joined.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, and I'm not, listen, I'm not doubting it. I think that Park Country Club, if I don't know if I had all the money, I would ever make that commitment. I just don't know if I would. I would take $40,000 and buy a piece of real estate as opposed to buying there.
That's why you're a successful businessman.
That's kind of the way I think.
Priorities, you know?
Yeah,
And
right.
then you take the profit out of that 40,000.
Exactly
and then
right.
you put that in
Exactly right, Don. That's exactly how I would do it.
Yeah, I went out and bought a sports car once, and Phil Buse said to me, that was stupid. What you should have done is invested that money in the stock market, and then when you made your capital gains, buy your sports car.
Right.
And use their money, not yours.
Well, listen, I do want to talk about something. I want to talk about Spencer Pratt in California.
Before we get to there, just 1 second. We lost a good friend to Buffalo last week, and that was Jerry Meehan. He was a captain of the Buffalo Sabres. He went on to become the general manager of the entire team, and when he retired, he was an agent for a lot of the hockey players.
No kidding.
He lived off of Sheridan Drive by the 16th hole at Park Club with his beautiful wife Marilla. And our sympathy and condolences go out to you and the kids. But what a great guy, and he had sepsis at the age of 79 and died. Now, I don't know if he died here or in Toronto, because they did have a home up there as well, but he was a good guy, good for the Sabres. He brought in Mogilny, Howard Chuck, a lot of the great players that we had back there is all because of Jerry Meehan. But on top of all of that, he was just a good guy. He's a great guy.
It's too bad to lose people.
Yeah.
And he was young.
Yeah, well, I get up, it looks real young. You can see it from here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, again, you're right. That's.
But anyway, I want you to talk about that guy in California.
Yeah.
With the
He lost.
ballot harvesting.
He
At
lost.
the last minute, middle of the night,
He lost.
20,000 ballots came in, not one had his name on it.
Yeah, I have to say this. There seems to be this level of sophistication that's happening out in the public, and I'm gonna just say it. I don't believe that the person at the top of the Republican ticket is thinking a lot about the downstate people and getting them elected, because a lot of people are completely against Trump and what he does and how he does it. So it's reflecting downwind.
Well, you know what the problem Dan is that when people like you and me and our neighbors have to pay $5 for a gallon of gas, you
Yep.
get to the point where, hey, Trump, what are the Iranians are playing the game with you.
Right.
They're not negotiating in good faith.
Right.
They're trying to drag it along so you
Well-
lose the midterms. And then when you get out of office, they'll go back to enriching their uranium, because the
And-
Democrats aren't gonna do anything to stop them.
Well, and I think the point of this is it's like this. I just think that, I don't know what to expect in November. I think it's gonna be a tough year. But on the flip side, I also think that the Democrats are painting themselves into a corner too with Plattner and all this other stupid things that they're doing,
How about
because
the guy in Maine?
that's what I'm saying, Plattner. That's it.
With the Nazi
With the
tattoo?
Nazi tattoo. So neither party is doing anything for the party themselves.
Like, you see the Democrats standing behind him.
I know, it
If he was a Republican, they'd be crucified.
Yeah, and I'm not making any, I'm not gonna make any disparaging remarks, just, you could see what's happening out there,
Amen.
okay?
You can see it right here in this mailer from John Rivera, who's running for the state senate.
Well-
He admits, I'm gonna fight for the people of Western New York, that's great. He says, but I'm a progressive. Now, this is what he's going to do. He will make sure that big corporations and the rich pay their fair share. Key word, will. He will fight to pass the New York Health Act to lower the cost of healthcare and prescription drugs. Will. He will, stop ICE and stand up to Trump, ending the federal overreach that's hurting our communities and driving up costs, yet he voted for $8 billion to be in the New York State budget to provide free health care and housing for the illegal immigrants. He's gonna crack down on price gouging by utilities and big corporations. John, you happen to be a good guy, but you're in Albany right now. Why is it, we'll do this? Why aren't you doing it now?
Well,
He's in the state assembly.
I want you to see how much Jeremy Zellner is spending of our money on how many flyers we're getting in the mail.
And he does pay for it. You know, I think, Dan, you're one of the best candidates in the 52 years that I've been in Buffalo. And I'm not saying that to make you feel good. I'm telling you because I've covered a lot of politicians. And I worked on your campaign and I was honored to do so. But we have another great candidate this fall. And his wife gave the green light and said, go ahead, and that's Terry McGuire for the state assembly, and I'd like to bring him in. He's got this thing that's got the Buffalo Bill schedule on it, which is kind of neat. You're looking wild on the fridge. This guy went to West Point. He retired from the Army as a lieutenant colonel, worked at the VA hospital. He's a quality guy. He and his wife have a daughter who has severe autism. And he knows what it's like for other parents to carry that cross. It's tough. But he doesn't talk about taxing the rich or going after ICE. What he talks about is restoring quality of life and having the state legislature find ways to lower the cost of doing business. Every year, the Democrats, Kathy Hochul, they tax and spend, tax and spend, tax and spend. And just wait. When the feds come in under J.D. Vance and they start doing what they did in Minnesota and they found all the fraud, corruption, and waste and how much millions of dollars went to Somalia, right? Our money. And the governor of Minnesota did nothing to prevent it. This is corruption at its worst. And I don't understand. The guy running for New York State Controller on the Republican side, Hernandez, great guy, by the way. So wait till they look at the Medicaid and Medicare program in New York State. What's going on in Minnesota is the tip of the iceberg compared to what's going on in New York. How you're going to win as a Republican in this state, I don't know. But I'm also reading that more and more corporations are leaving Manhattan because of Mamdani. The latest thing he wants to do is he wants to take an apartment building away from the landlord and give it to the people if that building is not up to standards. Who does he think he is? He's gonna take property away.
But Don, don't you think that this is a bigger, like, first of all, Terry's a great guy and I've already donated to his campaign.
So have I.
Because I think he's just a nice person and I think that he can do a great job. And I want Terry to win.
Me too.
I believe that in order for these things to happen, we have to get people off to vote. And I say this all the time. I think people who are running for office need to stop saying whether you're a Democrat or Republican. Say what's on your heart, see what you are, and just like John Rivera, this is what he feels, this is what he thinks. I think we should take him for his word. I think we should take him for their word, Jeremy Zellner, all of them. They're telling you what they're going to do. What we haven't done, and what we need to do much better is we need to figure out what it is that motivates people to get out and vote. What is it that we do? I don't think that we spend enough time figuring out that nuance right there. Because ultimately, Terry McGuire, if he was known by more people would vote for him because of who he is.
Nice guy.
Okay?
By the way, John Rivera's father sits on the Buffalo Common Council. He's a great guy, does a wonderful job
That's right.
representing the west side of
Oh,
Buffalo.
but again, let's talk about that. As people who are Republicans, Democrats, Independents, let's look at what we're looking at. We're looking at John Rivera or Jeremy Zellner as a choice. Now, me as a person who ran for that seat will tell you right now that Jeremy is not a nice person. The way he did what he did was not right.
No, it wasn't.
He should answer for his actions. Now, John, nice guy. I really enjoy it. If you ask me what I think, I hope that John beats Jeremy. Why? Because in my opinion, Jeremy, what he did was totally mistrustful And what we don't, you can't trust a person who did this to win.
Well, it's like the old days, Boss Kringle, Joe
Right.
Kringle, you know,
Right.
and Zellner did the same thing, put himself in there.
That's right.
He,
Look at people, Stokes, leave.
yep, and
So
the
people think
timing of it.
That's right. I mean, look at all this. This is all a big incestuous group of people
Yeah.
doing what they can do to keep power for themselves.
Right.
In my opinion, that is what should motivate us to get people out of these jobs and out of office.
Well, you know, on the Zoner commercial with his wife and daughter, they're in the kitchen and he's cooking pancakes and in the shape of Trump. It's got Trump's name and then he takes a spatula and kind of crumbles them off. I don't want my state politician fighting Trump. I want them doing something to improve the quality of life in Albany for all of us in New York State.
Don, how do they fight it? How do they fight that they've been in business? They've been doing this for 20 years. They're the ones who make this problem. They've done it.
They've created,
They've
no doubt
created,
about
they've
it.
created this problem. So what does he have to say except Trump? What does he have to
Because they
say?
can't say they've done anything
That's right.
good.
That's right.
I don't know how Hochul can run on her record.
That's right. I think that people just need to pay attention. I think people need to know that their voice matters. I don't think people think that.
I know they don't, because here's another thing, in Florida, DeSantis is talking about doing away with property taxes. You ever hear that in New York State? Do you ever hear him talking about lowering the tax rate? Do you ever hear about cutting the income tax rate? No, it's tax and spend, tax
Do you
and spend.
really believe that Jeremy Zellner cares
No,
about what we think?
they're all self-serving.
That's right. That's right.
And that's why people don't
And
vote.
I listen, at one time I gave money to Kathy Hochul because she was conservative.
Well, that was when she was in Congress.
But
Yeah.
that's my point.
She even
She
got
was
the NRA.
That's right,
endorsement.
that's right. She was a conservative. People pander to what they need.
And she's
And that-
pandering to
that's
the
right.
liberals and
That's
the
right.
socialists in
That's
New York City
exactly right.
metro area.
That just goes to show you where their heart is. This is the difference. And
Which way is the wind blowing?
that's right. And I'm gonna say this too. I think about this a lot since the election. I think about the things that I've been through and I had to understand. And what I don't like about what we do today is I do not like that we have put ourselves in a position where the current political system wants to disenfranchise people. They don't want all the people to go out and vote. It's because they get what they want out of this.
And they got the
And what,
machine.
that's right, and what do we do about this in order to change this direction? What is it that we can do in order to make this different? I mean, we've got groups out there like the ACC and all kinds of groups out there that are constantly fighting, constantly trying to figure out what's happening. We have lost sight of the prize. We have lost sight of the fact that at one time, we looked at our politicians and held them in reverence. We thought that this was an honorable thing to do.
The
I
last
go
one I
for
held
this-
in reverence was Jack Kemp
Okay, so there we go. Let's just take Jack Kemp, honorable guy.
and Mario Cuomo, by the way.
I voted for Mario. I thought Mario Cuomo was the best thing ever.
1984
that's right.
Democratic National Convention, the best speech I ever heard.
That's right. My opinion is that we have lost what it really has meant. And now it's all about, what is it for me? I look at Mark Poloncarz, what job has he done? He now blames every department head for the misgivings, or the cars, the money's not there, $364,000. He hasn't taken responsibility for anything. He blames everybody else.
Look at Maple Road.
But here's a guy who has not been brave enough to stand up and say, it's me. I'm the one is responsible for this. He's never done it. Never. And we put him in there 4 times.
Well, who else you gonna get?
Well, that's the point. When good people come out and they want to run, they're lost. They're lost in this menagerie of bullshit. And that's the problem. That's the problem.
You did 2 things that I won't do, and that's run for public office, and it's not worth it, what you have to go through all the hoops and the people. I think we met a lot of great people, don't get me wrong, but I was convinced, based on what you were stand for and what you were going to do for the town of Amherst, that you were gonna win. But you can't beat this machine, there's just too many Democrats.
I've had
in
a lot
this
of
town.
time, I've had a lot of time to think about this since the election, a lot. And number one, I don't regret it.
All right,
I don't regret doing it. Met great people. It humbles you to a place where you've never been in your life.
I met a lot of great people.
It makes you feel that you're, like, I was able to get 16,000 people to believe in what I believed in. And I think that is an honor in itself. We came within 1,700 votes, or 1,800 votes.
Which is incredible.
That's right. But I'll tell you something, Matt. The thing that you get when you lose an election is you get a perspective. You get a perspective on what's going on. And today, here's what I noticed. People are not happy with who they voted for. People are looking back and they're finding more things wrong because they're more disenfranchised every single day, more and more. And no matter who is in that job, they're fighting a monolith that's so big and so backwards that they don't understand that by little, we've got to take these pieces away. And now I think people think that it's so enormous that they feel like they don't matter anymore.
Well, yeah, the latest thing in the town of Amherst was doing away with the requirement of the residency requirement.
That's right.
And I had no problem. I said, okay, well, they're having a difficult time, as many people in the private sector are, of finding good people to fill these jobs. And then, ding, 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 a light goes off when someone said to me, don't you understand the motivation behind that? It's so they can get their political hacks from other towns on the payroll in the town of Amherst.
But let's assume it was altruistic. Let's assume that they were doing it for the right reason, right? Because this is just a faction of people who think this. Now, I'm not saying I disagree with that. All I'm telling you is, what do they do? I look at our politicians right now, they all look defeated. I was at a board meeting yesterday. I was at a board meeting because they want to designate 13 Cayuga as a landmark building, a historic landmark building.
What is that building?
Okay, it's the Vogel building
Oh, off Main Street.
off Main Street.
Okay,
Okay,
I think, doesn't the town already own it?
no, it's owned by Dan Vogel. But here's the point, they want to categorize it as a historic landmark. Now, let me give you a little insight. 5409 Main Street, where DeVolio is, I own the building. I bought that building, and when I bought it, it was not designated. I put a whole addition in the front, did all this work to it. After I owned it, they designated
It's
it.
a pretty building.
Thank you. But they designated, because it was built in the 1824, a lot of character to the building. But what happens is, now that it's designated, you now have to go before the HPC, Historic Preservation Committee. You gotta get permission to do anything to that building.
Even though the bones could be old.
Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Cost me $10,000 to fight with my neighbor over an audit. Because they wouldn't approve what I had originally put in there, and I had to pay twice, plus go to court to get this done. Okay, all I'm saying to you, so I went before the board yesterday. And it was the village trustees. Because
You're at the village board.
village board, HPC deemed this building to be a historic landmark, but it's gotta be approved by the board of the village board in order for it to happen. So I went there to speak against it. Because it's just a building, it's a block building, it was built in 1957 or 54. It's like, are you kidding me? So you now can turn this HPC or the historic preservation on buildings that have no characteristic in it whatsoever to make it. So I went there. So the reason I talk about this is because since my election, I've been laying low. I haven't been doing much. And the reason why is I'm kind of scoping out what's out there. So yesterday, it felt good to get up and speak on behalf of a position. But then, I was met with such reverence and such respect. It was a pleasure to go there. They were warm, they were inviting,
Really?
they listened to the conversation. They asked me to make sure that I go back on July 13th when the public hearing is going on. It was really very, very well done. My point is,
Good for you.
and my point is, that is how we engage people. That is what we do. Somebody was listening to what I was saying. They really took the time. A bunch of people talked, but the point was is that they listened. Today, we don't see that. People are going to the town board meetings today, and you're not allowed to clap. You're not allowed to do things. They're making it more difficult. So we're actually digging a bigger hole with what we're trying to come out of. Because people, they don't wanna deal with, they don't wanna hear people talk. They wanna just they wanna turn one faction off, one faction on, because they'll stay in power forever, because they don't wanna pull all the people together.
Well, how about James Carville, going back to your buddy,
Oh my
Maine?
God.
We gotta have him.
Doesn't matter what he did.
Doesn't matter. We need to see.
We gotta beat Susan Collins.
Yeah,
We gotta beat her. We gotta do it, no matter what it is. The Democratic Party is in shambles. It's absolutely going off the edge.
and they've lost their way.
That's right. And the Republican Party, on the flip side, what they've done wrong is they don't understand that you don't have to agree with everything Trump says.
But they make you feel like you have to.
That's exactly right.
If you listen to his,
That's right.
his
He got up and walked out of that
interview.
interview.
Yeah, well, they're antagonistic towards him.
But she wasn't really, I watched
I'm not
that.
at that point,
She wasn't.
but
He didn't
she
like her
can be.
answer.
She can be.
I know, but he didn't like her answer.
Well, as a journalist, I can see what is going on at CBS in 60 Minutes. I'm not a Scott Pelley fan. That's not important to me, but it's the way and what they do it. The message they're sending is, you can't be as liberal as 60 Minutes has been, but 60 Minutes has also lost its way. There was a time when you and I would go home on a Sunday night and it
Watch
was must-watch TV because of the investigative reporting.
But Don, you know this world better than I do. The problem is that now the reporters, people like Kimmel and him, they are now going out to the public to try to make
Make their case.
that's right. And here's the problem. Pelley, who actually argued with his boss, who actually came out against them.
Right
What
to
do you
his face.
expect? What do you expect them to do?
You're murdering 60
Yes.
Minutes. You don't say that to your boss,
That's right.
especially a new boss.
That's right.
And there's questions whether or not he has the credentials to be the new boss, but that's not for you and I to decide.
What happened to the fact that you work for somebody? What happened to the fact that you respect what they're doing? Go in there and have a closed door meeting. Tell them this stuff. And I don't know whether he did or didn't, but you went out publicly. You came out and embarrassed them. If you worked for me and embarrassed me, I would ask you to leave. Why? Because why would I want you around if you don't want to be here? I get it.
Not part of the team.
That's right. You don't like being part of my team? I understand. You want to go on? Then move on.
Right.
Instead, it's like Kimmel. I have no respect for the man. You want to know why? Because now he's using that platform every chance he can. He came out against Pratt in LA. He's now the spokesperson.
Yeah, where do they get these credentials?
That's right. He's now the spokesperson.
He's supposed to be a comedian
That's right.
and an entertainer. We
And
haven't had good entertainment. I give Dave Letterman some credit and I give
They were at least
funny,
funny,
Yeah.
but they didn't pick a side.
but look at Johnny Carson, the success he had.
Oh,
Never
God.
once did he get involved in politics.
That's right. But see, that's the
And to
point.
this day, even though he's dead, I don't know if he was liberal or conservative.
You have no idea.
I met him once.
That's
I
right.
met Doc Severson a couple times.
Right.
Great guys, but I don't know what their political views
But
are.
that's the point. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
Who cares what your political belief is?
I can't play a trumpet like
That's
Doc
right.
Severson.
That's right. And this is where the problem is. This is where the problem is. This is the issues that we have because people are taking sides now. That's the problem. They're always taking a side and it's either you're right or you're wrong or wrong and right. It doesn't matter.
And before we say goodbye, we lost another guy locally. Channel 7 photographer Rick Swenson died at the age of 90. And ironically, this fall, he is going to be posthumously now inducted to the Buffalo Broadcasters Hall of Fame. But I worked with Rick for 11 years. Irv, Rick, and Tom love Rick Swenson. His son, Scott, is at Channel 4 in sports, does a wonderful job. He's got another son that runs the Key Bank Center and involved. But my point is, I want to tell you two quick stories about Rick Swenson. I got a call from a very good source at 1 o'clock in the morning that a woman on Montana Street, and I was so new in town, I didn't even know where Montana Street on the east side was, had killed her 4 children. And I had to get on the scene. And in those days, you needed a photographer. And I called Rick. I said, Rick, I'm making coffee. If you want to come get me, we have to go down to Montana Street. A woman killed her 4 kids. He goes, I know right where it is. I'll be at your house in 10 minutes. And he was. The other great story I had with Rick Swenson is that he and I were in Sky 7, the helicopter. And we're flying to Niagara County to the sheriff's office. And we're over Grand Island. And the pilot, who was a Vietnam War helicopter pilot, looks down and he was spooking the deer on Grand Island. I'm like, can you get me over to the sheriff's office? And it was winter time, and as we're about to land, he goes, we got a problem. I go, what's the problem? He goes, we're out of gas. I said, you mean to tell me you left the TV station with less than a full tank? He goes, yeah. He goes, what are we gonna do? And Swenson looks at me and I look at Rick and he says, I'm gonna put an autopilot and see that snowbank over there where they plowed the parking lot? We're gonna land on the snowbank. And we did, and all the snow was swirling around the
No kidding.
helicopter. We survived. And the other one was the day that a man was impaled on the flagpole at City Hall. Do you remember that story?
Mhm.
The guy, he was a jumper.
Yeah.
And not, he wanted to take his life, but what a way to go. He was falling off the observation deck and lands on the flagpole and his body's impaled. Rick and I were going down Delaware Avenue at that time and a lady came out and T-boned us. And he got on the radio and said, hey, someone get over here. I got Postals with me. He needs to get back to get this story on the air and I'll take care of dealing with the accident report with Buffalo PD. Great guy, great family man. And there's not going to be a big service for him or anything like that. He just wanted his family to be around for the burial, but we lost a veteran. I mean, a real good newsman. Back in the day when you turned to your photographer, Dan, you'd say, hey, if I say it this way, how does it sound? Well, people at home, and these guys get it.
Yeah.
They're like Joe and Mary Beer Can. They understand what people are thinking.
I wanna say something. I think that it's great, Don, that you recognize these people. And to everybody that's out there, the idea of this thing between Don and I is about the fact that we just talk about everything that comes to mind.
Yeah.
None of this is scripted, people. I want you to know that. We just talk. And
We don't even know what we're gonna talk
we don't even know
about.
what we're gonna talk about, but we do this because we want people to understand that there's an avenue for you to talk to, come and talk to us and let us know what's happening. But I would suggest this. If you got something, send it off on my Facebook page. Let us know what you want us to talk about and we'll do it. We'd love to do it. This is a really easygoing podcast. We just like doing it and we appreciate the fact that we're getting out there.
You know, Dan, our love for Western New York far exceeds our political beliefs.
100%.
And, I root for people to do well in life. I'm never wishing anybody bad, ill, or anything like that. But you and I try to get our eye on common sense.
Right,
And you
right.
see this ridiculous stuff that comes out of Albany that sometimes,
It's just stupid. Doesn't make no sense.
amen.
Okay,
Good to
bud?
see you.
You too,
All
bro.
right, hit it straight.
Yeah. I'm gonna try my best.